Have you ever just been minding your own business when all of a sudden you get flashbanged by a memory you didn't even know you had? That was me one time when I was watching YouTube and I got a recommendation from Microwave Society's video on Thomas and the Magic Railroad. I don't know how I forgot this movie existed. I was a huge Thomas the Tank Engine fan when I was a child. My favorite was definitely Thomas, but Percy was tied for second. Growing up, I lived near a train depot, so almost every day I would go down with my grandma and we would check out the little museum they had in there. I really don't know how I forgot about all of this. And the more I thought about it, the more I felt uncomfortable, but I didn't really know the proper words to say it. So I did the next logical thing. I watched the movie to try to jog my memory about it. At the start, I couldn't think of a way to describe it, and maybe by the end of this video, I'll find a way. If you're new here, hi, my name is Olivia, but you can just call me Ollie, and this movie was a roller coaster. I didn't want to say train wreck because that would have felt too fitting. Before we get into the topic of this video, I just want to say you should go check out Microwave Society's videos. They're all so funny, and the three of them always have the best chemistry. It's really admirable to watch, honestly. Come on, the train's leaving the station. Let's talk about Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Woo woo! Thomas and the Magic Railroad is a movie that came out in the year 2000, and it was written and directed by Britt Allcroft. The movie had a loaded cast with well-known icons such as Alec Baldwin, Mara Wilson, and Peter Fonda. Unfortunately, it didn't do so hot at the box office, raking in $19.7 million worldwide, while the film itself had a $19 million budget. The critics say that there were a lot of inconsistencies between the movie and Shiningtown Station, which was the TV show before the movie release that followed Thomas and his friends. The film starts with Mr. Conductor's disembodied voice introducing us to the world of Sodor and its locomotive citizens. This morning, Thomas is running a bit behind to meet with his grumpy old train friend named Gordon. Gordon is particularly fussy about Thomas's punctuality because Sodor's railways have the reputation of being really reliable and right on time. But Thomas ain't paying him any mind because he's focused on his task to pick up our little buddy, Mr. Conductor. However, the pair is interrupted by Diesel 10 racing past them. Diesel 10's whole thing is that he hates trains. So Thomas and Gordon were like a little too chill about this guy who's just notorious for his train racism. They didn't move at all, just let the guy cover them in dirt. A fun little thing about this movie is that there is a lot of deleted content around it, and especially one involving Diesel. Diesel wasn't supposed to be the main villain of this movie. It was supposed to be P.T. Boomer, who was played by Doug Lennox, but after they filmed the director's cut, they showed it to a test audience to get the general, audience thoughts. The audience thought that it was way too scary for children, so they cut off every scene involving P.T. Boomer and just made Diesel the main villain. I think that's crazy. I hope Doug still got paid for that. I'm sure he did because it was the work, but wow, I would be pissed. After the introduction to Sodor, Mr. Conductor takes us to his little town of Shiningtime, which, like I said, is the name of the town that was from the TV show in the original Thomas the Tank Engine series. The only difference between this Mr. Conductor and that Mr. Conductor is that it wasn't Alec Baldwin, obviously, but you know who it was? Ringo Starr. That's right, the Beatles drummer was on Thomas the Tank Engine. While a musical montage plays over different shots of Shiningtown, we get to see that the whimsiest people live here. We also get to see that Mr. Conductor is this tiny magical guy, so I'm just gonna say that he's a train fairy.
She was a fairy.
And by the way, I think that you're going to help me and Thomas somewhere in this story.
Oh, did you catch that? We're going to be helping the story. Wonder what we'll do. When we return to Thomas, he meets up with his friend James, who is in timeout in the shed. While Thomas is talking about all the wonderful things that trains can do, Diesel comes sneaking up and talks shit on all of the trains. However, this shit talking is helpful because Diesel reveals his plans to destroy the lost steam engine and make diesel engines the dominant race. I don't know what else to call it. Anyways, Thomas chases after him, but with no urgency whatsoever.
You won't dominate us, and you won't destroy her. We won't let you.
Go, Kylie, go. Good job, Kylie. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Also, James not knowing the lost engine implies that he wasn't there when that happened, or nobody told him about it. Which doesn't exactly make sense because he's afraid of Diesel 10. So they told him about Diesel 10, but they didn't tell him about this really important part of Sodor lore. Anyways, we're in Shining Town and we meet Patch, Mutt, Billy, and Stacy Jones. Yes, you heard me. The lady who works at the train station is named Stacy Jones. Patch asks Billy about these mysterious lines on the map, and when Billy gives him the "shut up, kid, it's magic" answer, Patch heads up to Muffle Mountain to help this man, Burnett Stone, clean up his yard. I didn't mean to have two movies involving sad old men in a town that kind of makes fun of them for it, like back to back. But my Banana Splits movie got copyrighted, so I couldn't upload it. So, sorry, y'all are getting Scary Henry and Burnett Stone back to back. Nothing I could do. The scene changes, and we learn that Burnett has been keeping the lost engine, who's named Lady, safe and sound after Diesel 10 crashed her. I'll just say the model for this train is absolutely beautiful. Her paint job is sleek, and she looks like she's in immaculate condition. Also, I wonder what all happens in Shining Town to make Patch just so accepting of this answer. Anybody else would have probably thought he was crazy and just left, but not Patch.
An evil Diesel found Lady and threatened to destroy her.
I guess there was something mysterious about this mountain.
Now, we get to catch up with D10, but first I'm going to show you how we transition into this scene.
She's as precious as gold.
Pinchy, you've captured the real me.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely not. First time I watched this, it honestly kind of threw me out of the loop. Diesel and his goons... sidekicks. Sorry, that word has been ruined forever. These two are Splatter and Dodge, and they're not threatening. They're just happy to be here. Also, the pinchy thing on top of Diesel's head is alive.
Ow, Pinchy! I hate it when you do that.
So, do you think it's just another appendage? Do you think it's supposed to be like a pet? Let me know in the comments. Back in Shining Time, Mr. Conductor is leaving for Sodor, and we learn that number 1, everyone can see him. Number 2, he can understand animal speech. Number 3, he uses gold dust to travel between Sodor and Shining Time. Oh, and he lives in the depot's walls.
He's in the walls.
Hey, what was it with early 2000s children's shows and casting Alec Baldwin? He was in this one, Cat in the Hat, and the SpongeBob movie. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know he played Dennis? Because I had no idea up until now. I think it's interesting watching him as Mr. C and then thinking about all his controversies. Sir Topham Hatt wouldn't like that. All the confusion and delay. Shit, even in this world, Mr. C is causing delay because the gold dust that he uses to travel between the worlds is glitching out. But he does make it to Sodor and he meets up with Thomas. Mr. C, just a question. If you're worried about your dust running dry, why do you keep using it? Like, he could have walked to get onto Thomas, right? Maybe it was because, like, the green screen and the editing would have been too difficult for this time. But still, Mr. Conductor, your legs aren't broken. Walk! We get this quick little moment of Burnett remembering the promise he made to protect Lady. And although it's sad, we do get a little bit of Conductor lore. So for starters, Baby Burnett says the Conductor family. So it just seems like this is a lineage thing. It's kind of like Nurse Joy from Pokemon. You're born into the family. You're just kind of expected to take this job. The only difference is you all don't look the same. However, just because it's a family job does not mean it's an exclusively family job. Because the Mr. Conductor that Baby Burnett spoke to gave him the job and said, maybe one day someone from my family will take over.
One day, one of his family would return. But until then, to guard her well, young Burnett.
Burnett is much bigger than Mr. C. I think it's safe to assume that Mr. Burnett is not originally from Sodor. I think it's safe to infer that the conductor Baby Burnett was speaking to was Ringo Starr's Mr. Conductor, since Alec Baldwin said that he had no idea about the connection between Burnett and Lady.
I didn't know that in Muffle Mountain there was a secret that Burnett had shared only with his childhood friend, Tasha.
We'll come back to talking about the conductors later, because now we're introduced to Lily, who is Mr. Stone's granddaughter. Her character is like the quirky heroine who sees magic in everything. Since her grandpa's been so depressed with the death of his wife, Lily decides to go visit him to cheer him up. In the aforementioned deleted content, Lily was supposed to be the narrator. The story was that she was reading the story of the Lost Engine to hers and Patch's children. I think that would have been a cool direction. Honestly, I wish they kept that one. In Sodor, things are getting so messy for Thomas. Everyone has beef with him for, well, Cole? Everyone has Cole with him for no reason. James is pissed that he wasn't asked to pick up Mr. C, and Gordon's making fun of him for his size.
You, Thomas, are small. Small, 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 teeny, weeny, weeny. And I...
Why did Gordon say that? Why did Gordon say that line like that? Next time you get an unsolicited dick pic, send them that screen recording. Also, there's this little subplot where instead of using all his free time to look for the lost engine, Diesel, Soup, and Salad are playing pranks on the train. Cause, you know, why do something productive when you can be a little shit?
The boss dumped sneezing powder everywhere.
This scene made me think of the way that they shoot the different train segments. I thought of this because of their different expressions. So what they do is that they make these little model trains and they shoot them on a 35mm camera lens. Their faces are detachable and they swap them off with different expressions depending on which one the scene uses. Their eyes move because there's a little mechanism inside that makes them move their eyes down, up, left, right, or do the little spinny thing. I think that's so cool because this was like an early 2000s movie, so the technology wasn't great. I think it's so cool that they can make these trains so expressive and leave such an impact without having to use such fancy technology. Because if this was today, they would have just used CGI. Back to the movie, Mr. Conductor is in Mr. Topham Hatt's office, just dicking around when all of a sudden he calls to check in. And you know what? I think they could have had an enemies, rivals to lovers trope. Like, seriously, the way that Mr. C, like, just tenderly whispers,
"Goodbye, sir."
They're in love. Tomorrow, I better see a Mr. Topham Hatt and Mr. Conductor edit to Casual by Chapel Roan. I better see that on my For You page. I better be tagged in it. Thomas fans, you're out there, and I know y'all know how to edit. Do it! Nighttime rolls around in Sodor and everyone's asleep except Mr. C, who does the funniest fucking bit in the movie.
What would you rather do instead? Go outside and play? Well, I can understand that. What do you think? Why do you keep hitting him like that?
Maybe it was cause it was 3 in the morning when I watched this, but oh my god, that's funny. That's fucking funny. Anyways, guess who shows up to cause more issues because he has nothing better to do? That's right, Diesel. This time Mr. C's gold dust is biting the dust. But don't worry, he threatens to give Diesel a little bit of sugar and that scares him right away. I mean the sweetener, not a kiss. That's for Mr. Topham Hatt. Everyone goes back to sleep when Mr. C is like borderline delirious. He keeps waking up and just rambling about the magic and the buffers, and I want to pause and talk about another theory that I have for this movie. Not like a lore theory, but a more technical side of the theory. I believe that Stacy was supposed to have a bigger role because, like, earlier she was mentioned to have this feeling that something bad was going to happen when none of the others had that feeling, and then now she's in Mr. C's dreams.
Like Stacy, Mutt sensed danger.
Maybe there was going to be a romance plot for her and Mr. C. Maybe she was going to be the one to save the day. Who knows? But I think they cut her out of her original role and just gave her those 2 parts. Anyways, gold dust is running out. The magic is running out between Sodor and Shining Town, so Mr. C needs to find more gold stat. Now we're focused on Lily, who's trying to get to Muffle Mountain to meet up with her grandpa. But since Mutt is the intelligent, all-knowing town dog, he gets her on the train to Shining Town to meet someone who might be able to help them. And as goofy as this movie is, it is very beautiful. The soundtrack, the scene design, the cinematography, it's all very pretty. It kind of reminds me of those old paperback books, or, you know, the granny romance novels. The aesthetic, the different colors. It just reminds me of one of those book covers. The next morning, Mr. C is looking for the windmill because his family told him that when he was lost to look for it. However, he can't seem to find it. And when all hope seems to be lost, a friendly rabbit leaves behind some vegetables to kickstart his brain power. And I guess it works.
Sausage, bicycle, toothpaste,
Beach, that's it.
So I'm going to prepare y'all because I'm about to become the worst person you ever met. When Mr. C makes a phone call, he calls up his cousin Junior, and I forgot all about him until I rewatched this movie. And then I remembered 3-year-old me had the fattest crush on Junior. 21 years later, I am still crushing on Junior.
Oh, so hot. Damn!
I don't know. I can't help it. I kind of blush. I get all giggly when it gets on screen. Some things just never change, you know? Lily's sitting in the train depot in Shining Town, and she meets my Junior. And her interest is piqued by the gold dust he left behind. Stacy takes her to Muffle Mountain to meet up with Burnett, and later that night there's a shrill sound, almost like a train whistle. You ever wonder what the other people who live on Muffle Mountain think? They think it's a dying animal. Back in Sodor, Thomas and Percy contemplate the idea that if there's a lost engine, there must be a lost railway, and that must be how Mr. C gets from Shining Time to Sodor. Percy mentions the insane ramblings of last night and how Mr. C said something about train buffers, so maybe if they find the buffers, they can find the lost engine. Unfortunately, Diesel overhears this, so Toby, this old tram car, follows Diesel, but again with no urgency. Hurry the fuck up, please. So Toby goes to spy on Diesel, Slip, and Slide while they discuss the plans, and he's like, oh shit, I gotta stop him. So he rings his bell to distract them, and Diesel sends out Pinchy to get Toby, but instead knocks down the entire shed on the 3 of them. That part was an accident, so that means Toby was fully prepared to die, and Diesel was prepared to kill him. Which might sound shocking until you realize that death seems to be like a common theme in the island of Sodor. There's a story of Godred, who was so proud of his automatic brakes that he was careless and went rolling down a mountain. Then we've got the story of Henry, who was bricked up, and I don't mean it like that, I mean straight up bricked inside of a tunnel because he wouldn't go out in the rain. Honestly, I can make a whole video about the dark shit that happens in Sodor if you're interested. I guess they let him out of the tunnel for this time though, because Henry isn't feeling so well, so Thomas goes to get him 6 cards of coal to help him feel better. The magic in Sodor coal is supposed to be very different than regular coal, but when the carts don't get connected properly, so it goes speeding down the tracks and into a lone set of buffers before phasing into it. However, Thomas doesn't really notice this until he goes back to talk to Percy, and after they come up with the conclusion that that's where the magic railroad starts, Thomas gives Percy the job to go watch the buffers.
Why me? Because you're a brave engine, Percy.
Oh, I forgot.
Percy might be the only one in this movie that has any sense, because God, he is stressed. Mr. Conductor is walking along the tracks when Diesel comes up and grabs him to throw him off the bridge. Well, the same bridge that he saw in his dreams.
That's what I saw in my dream. It's coming true.
He manages to cut Pinchy's wires with wire clippers he conveniently had in his back pocket and then gets flung through the air and onto a pile of grain sacks.
Did you put all this here for me?
No.
But you must have known that I was coming.
Nuh-uh.
How kind of you.
No, I didn't do that. See, that's what Mr. C meant by we were going to help him in this story. That's the only time that happens. That doesn't happen anymore. See, the fourth wall break in this one doesn't really work because it's not consistent, nor is it formed properly. Yeah, Mr. C is the narrator, but that's kind of just the narrator's job, to talk about the story. The audience was never prompted for a response, to think of somewhere for him to land, but you just landed onto some grain. That couldn't have been us. You know what I mean? Mr. C also conveniently lands near the windmill he was looking for, and it gives him the riddle for the gold dust before vanishing out. Patch and Lily meet each other, and they ride into Shining Time on Patch's horse. But Lily spends most of her time on the train station, which means we get to see that beautiful man again. I'm trying not to make every mention of Junior, like, fangirly, but look at him. He was the blueprint for Golden Retriever boys, and you know what's upsetting? There are no edits for him. He would absolutely blow up on TikTok. Make an edit of him, see what happens. And I'm not just saying that because I need it. See what happens. Anyways, Lily goes with him to Sodor, and she, just like Patch, was way too chill about the idea of talking trains. Junior was a stranger and was like,
"Hey, let's go on this island using my magic dust."
And City Girl Lily said, "Okay." Does this girl not have any basic survival skills? Was she not taught about stranger danger? Junior and Lily meet up with Thomas and climb onto him and... Wait, so Mr. C could have walked. They walked onto Thomas. Why couldn't he? Anyways, they're traveling and... Whore. They find Mr. C over by the windmill. I need to show you guys this clip because it's kind of insane.
No, he's not a dog. Well, let's just say he's a puppy in need of a good trainer.
Oh shit, that's good. Oh, that's crazy. Do you think that was like director's instructions, or do you think that was an acting choice? Wait, hang on, I gotta check something. Oh my god, the script is on the Internet Archive. Okay, yeah. The line that Mr. C says is in there, but there are no instructions that say stick your tongue out, pant, and bark like a fucking dog. When I called him the blueprint for Golden Retriever boys, I didn't mean it literally. But okay, good to know. Michael E. Rogers had a moment of realization where he had free will. You know what? Good for him. God, anyways, this beautiful fucking idiot decides he's gonna go on a ride on the windmill. And of course he gets flung off. But he lands on Diesel, so he's going train surfing. Yeah! Also, everyone's so chill about imminent danger in the island of Sodor.
What's gonna happen to Junior now?
Well, my family is usually pretty good at getting themselves out of trouble.
So now the reality that Lily might not make it back home if Diesel destroys the buffers has finally sunk in. So Mr. C makes a special request that Thomas takes Lily through the magic railroad tonight, and the pair find the missing coal truck from earlier. They realize the coal might be able to help them out, so they go back for it. Also, not to be that guy, but where does Thomas turn to get back to the coal cart? Every shot we've seen from Shining Time to Sodor has just been a straight shot, so where the fuck did he go for that? They make it back to Muffle Mountain, and Lily's run off to find Burnett, and poor Thomas is left all alone. Till he rolls down the hill and fucking dies. No, kidding. He just goes into another sector of the Magic Railroad. We check in with Burnett, and once again, he is the saddest man alive. His granddaughter returned after being missing for like 24 hours, and he doesn't really seem that thrilled by it.
Grandpa!
Oh, Lily. I'm so glad to see you.
Lily, Burnett, and Patch make the realization that the Sodor coal is the thing needed to make Lady come back to life, so Patch runs up the mountain and gets some from the coal cart. Meanwhile, Junior's still hanging on to Diesel, and when they enter the portal to hell, Seriously, why does this place look so fucking scary? Junior gets flung off, but lands on James this time, and poor James was probably just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but now he has to be nearly killed. However, Junior uses the last bit of his dust up, and him and James are reunited with Mr. C.
No, we're out, but we are not down.
In Muffle Mountain, Lily and Burnett have this sweet moment while fixing up Lady, and the coal works! Now they're off to Sodor, and the magic is returning to the railroad, which means now Lady has a face. And a voice.
So, Burnett, you didn't forget about magic.
The gang reunites, and despite the magic returning, there's still no gold dust for the conductor duo. This moment is interrupted by Diesel, now abandoned by his henchmen, and the chase is on for Lady. I also don't know how Mr. C and Junior didn't realize that Lady was a part of the riddle. I mean, this is the lost engine for the magic railroad. I don't know, I guess my thought process is that, like, she would be somewhat responsible, right? Like, she would know something.
She's part of the clue to the source of the gold dust!
This chase scene is like pretty intense for a children's movie, and remember that crumbly bridge from earlier? Lady and Thomas are able to zip across it because they're smaller and lighter, but Diesel, not so much. When Diesel gets to it, the bridge crumbles and he dies. No, I'm kidding, he falls in a manure boat.
Oh well. Nice time of the year for a cruise.
Now that everything has calmed down, the gang can focus on how to get more gold dust, and they realize that if they mix magic railroad shavings with well water, that must be how you get gold dust. Also, I like the way that the dust sucks into their vessels. It kind of reminds me of the poltergust from Luigi's Mansion. The movie's coming to an end, and Junior decides he doesn't want to be a beach bum anymore. He wants to work on the railway. So Mr. C gives him a job at Sodor, and it's time to say goodbye. Well, almost. This is the last bit of the deleted scenes that I'm going to show. There are plenty of others. It's a post-credit scene where Junior's enjoying his last little bit day of vacation, and here it is.
One last sun ray. And one last sip of a summer Sunday. I think I'm a poet.
Yeah. Allegedly, when they decided to cut it out, Brick Alcroft took Michael to dinner as kind of like an apology, so I hope whatever he got to eat was worth it. Mr. Topham Hat returns to the island, and the stones and Patch return to Shining Time, and all the magic has been restored. And as I closed the tab to the movie, I couldn't help but feel that disgusting pressure in my stomach return. I wanted to pull the little dial back to the beginning and just watch this movie over and over and over, but why? Well, I think I'm able to describe how I feel now. It's a serene storm of realizing that I'm growing older. Depending on when this video gets released, I will either be 24 or I'll be pretty dang close to it. And as grateful as I am that I get to grow old and get all these experiences, it's horrifying. It's different, it's new, and you never know what's happening. However, I can't let myself get swallowed by that fear. I have to be like a train and chug right along with time. I have to find my own shining time. Alright, enough of the sappiness. Onto the casual thoughts. I really enjoyed this movie. Was it great? No. But did I have a great time watching it? Absolutely. It's Thomas the Tank Engine, so obviously the audience is for children. But I feel that even adults can find some enjoyment in it. Also, Junior's in it. Did I ever mention how much I love Junior? Oh my god. So, what do you think of the movie? Do you think I was blinded by nostalgia by liking it? Do you think I was a little bit too nitpicky? Yeah, sorry that my uploads have been kind of slow on here. The semester has just kind of gotten crazy, and like I said, the Banana Splits movie that was supposed to come out like a couple months ago got copyright claimed, and I needed a break after that because that pissed me off. Also, like, let me know what y'all want to see because I'm totally down for suggestions. Alright, I gotta go catch a train with my man, Junior. I'm Ogali Atali, and I'll be seeing you around. Mwah. How long have I been saying Shining Town in this video? I mean Shining Time. I am so sorry.